And we're off again, perfect. So yeah, first stage here, greens, not that extremely difficult. Move right, and just try to like manage the lag. Then first here we get into Hobby Bros, the first part of RNG. I don't know if either of these does RNG manipulation. I guess we'll find out soon. So Puppy Bros can do two things here: either dance or throw a bomb. Both gets the bomb, real nice. Then we're just back to moving right and management the lag. Thomas with a damage boost there. Silvshady taking it as well. Oof, Thomas running into the enemy. Now the climb of the tree. This actually is a bit harder than it looks to do efficient, so you don't lose all your momentum. Okay, both of them coming into the Wispy fight. Wispy have two attacks, Puffs, as we just saw on Thomas' screen, and then apples. And Silvshady just getting the apples, catching up a little. Ugh, Thomas getting two Puffs again. Silvshady getting two Puffs as well. And that's Thomas done with the first stage, and Silvshady right after him, just a couple of seconds. Now into Castle Lololo. Sorry about that, my headset just died. And both of them coming into the mini fight with Lololo. It's completely RNG which row Lololo comes out on. You would prefer the top row just because it's short. Let's see if any of them goes for Curry kill. And it would appear none of them do. Okay. Curry kill is a strat that's high risk, high reward, where you can get a really fast kill on Lola here, but it's very easy to mess up and lose your bunch of time. Silvshady getting a good pattern, Thomas getting a good pattern as well. Ah, Silvshady just missing that double hit. And Thomas is done with the fight. Silvshady losing a bit of time here. Just finishing up the fight there. Now into Float Island. Float Island is one of the more difficult stages of the bunch. This stage in particular is quite difficult, especially with lag management and yeah. As you can see, Thomas just took 3 hits in short rapid succession. It's really not a pleasant map. Ooh, and another damage. Silvshady taking a couple of damage boost. Almost taking that damage there. Especially these coconuts Silvshady was just at can cause some major lag, which actually did happen a little bit. Now onto the boat for Thomas. He does not opt to go for the curry. It saves time to not do it, but it can be a safer strat to do so, especially with 2 HP. And Silvshady is also opted not to go for the curry. You're both off to Kabula now. Kabula, which, according to the manual of the game, KDL when it first came out, Kirby's DreamLand, is a female. Thomas taking it at a kind of safer damage, down to 1 HP though. Oof, really close fight for Thomas there, but he just manages to squeeze out with 1 HP. Silvshady also opting to take it at a long distance and finish the fight with no problems. Float Island. Probably the most difficult stage in the game, at least in my opinion. This first room here isn't that awfully difficult, just the shabbies we saw Silvshady just that can be quite difficult. That's a very tight jump Thomas tried to do, but sadly he missed it, jumping over those two shabbies. Thomas is now into what many considers to be the most difficult room. This vertical climb. It's very easy to take a bunch of damage here. Silvshady is also into it. And now Thomas into Cracko Jr. This the first time you play it, this can look like a very intimidating fight, but it's actually completely scripted. There's nothing RNG about it. It's really easy. There's 3 safe spots. Thomas opting for the middle one here, and I think he used the left side as well. And standing all the way in the right corner is also a safe spot. Now Thomas coming into the more exciting parts of the level. Basically, yeah. Destroy Block City here. Just a big row of blocks. Whoever thought that was a good idea? It's not fun. Both of them making through the stage really well though, taking almost no damage, only 1 point of damage on Thomas. And here we are, the most dreaded fight in the entire game. Cracko. There's a reason this tournament is called Cracko Crushing Tournament. Cracko crushes all our dreams, all the time. It's really sad. Thomas getting a pretty good Cracko so far though. Silvshady getting a not terrible Cracko either. Oh! Having a bit of trouble with jumping. 1 damage apart and Thomas finishes up. Sub 8 Cracko, not bad. Silvshady just behind him. Now into Mount DDD. This stage is it's a boss rush where you have to go through all the 4 bosses again. Opting for the Lolo La 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 fight here first. Simply just both of them do. Simply just because it's closer to the where you spawn within the room. Thomas taking a damage here. But getting that double hit is very nice here. Silvshady getting a good pattern. Let's see if he can. He cannot utilize it. But he gets the backup double hit. Very nice from Silvshady. Thomas going into the Cracko fight. What order you do the rest of the doors in here, the last 3 doors, is completely up to personal preference. There's no advantage of doing one over the other. Both of them here opting to take out as much RNG as they possibly can. And Thomas not getting good RNG, and all of a sudden Silvshady is actually ahead. Silvshady getting a pretty good RNG so far in this Cracko fight. Thomas starting to get good RNG as well, catching up a little. And now Silvshady's 2 hits ahead. Back to 1 hit. And Cracko just doesn't want to finish the fight for Silvshady now. Oh, there it is. And he's out of there. Thomas still struggling with that final last hit. Ah, Cracko really doesn't want to give it to him. And yes, this is why it's called Cracko Crushing Tournament. This is incredibly bad luck, and finally he gets it. Finally out of the Cracko fight, as Silvshady just enters the Kabula fight. Kabula is also one of those bosses that can be very, very dangerous in this final boss rush here. It's very easy to take a bunch of damage on the Kabula fight, and throughout this entire stage you cannot get your health refilled unless you die, which of course is a huge time waste. Now Silvshady into the Wispy fight, getting 2 puffs, and then some apples, nice. Wispy can also choose to do 4 puffs, which is the longest attack he got, which is, as you can imagine, a really big time loss. And Silvshady out of the fight, ready to enter D3. So here we got the King DDD. King DDD have 3 different attacks. We have seen 3 of them already. He can jump, which creates 2-star. He will fall over like he did here, trying to hug Kirby, and he can suck, as both of them just did, and he can hammer for a star, as we just saw in Silvshady's stream. You want to have him jump or do the hammer. Those are the only attacks that provide you with utility to kill King D3. Silvshady is hit with 3 hits at the moment. Not really getting the best of RNG, but getting good enough to stay ahead. And as we said, that he gets 4 hits ahead now, 3 hits. It may look over, but it definitely can still go in Thomas's favor. 1 hit on D3 can take a really long time, and as we can see, oh, there's Silvshady just finishing up the D3 fight with a 12-23. Not bad at all. And Thomas is struggling to finish the game out and opting to forfeit the game. Yeah, Thomas got some quite bad luck. Quite bad RNG throughout the first stage here. Silvshady also getting not the best RNG, but Thomas definitely getting the worst of them. But a really close race. Only 2 hits on King DDD apart. So it will just be a short moment here before we get the second race set up. I will be right back into it with hopefully another close race. And it would appear we are off again to race number 2. With the almost perfect in sync. Nice. You could see that the players opted to do the first part here a little different. There's virtually no time difference between the two. It's just a personal preference how you want to do it. Let's see how they get the RNG here. Ooh, Thomas getting the dance! That is about a 4-second loss in time, which you now have to catch up. And Silvshady is doing the rest of the stage quite nice, managing the lag and getting through it without taking any damage. Except for an intentional damage, and struggling with getting up a little here. Oof. Now back into the wispy fight. Still getting 2 puffs than apples. About average. That's average RNG. Ooh, Thomas getting the 6 puffs, 2 puffs and 4 puffs. That is really unfortunate and bad RNG. And another 2 puffs. So Shady just finishing up the fight here. And Thomas still relatively close behind him. Back into the castle Lololo. That microphone you just saw, so Shady and Thomas will grab here, is actually something you really do not want to use as a power. It's basically a power that when you use it, spit it out. It will kill all the enemies around you, but it will also make Kirby stand completely still for a couple of seconds, causing that time loss. Now into the low fight here. So Shady getting a couple of double rows, real nice. Thomas right behind him trying to do some fake manip at the top row. So Shady's taking a bit of damage there. Gets the second block, very nice. He can maybe go for a double back up hit. Ah, just misses it. Thomas getting a double hit to begin off the fight though. And he have to set up for... Oh, Thomas getting a really good movement throughout the la fight here. And we are back to basically neck and neck. Just a second or two in between them. Going into Float Islands. Back to the lag management. Both taking the intentional damage boost there. And some of you may think, why are they jumping up and down in the water? Why not just fly above it? Exactly because going into the water saves a significant amount of time. So although it may look a bit silly, it actually saves you, I believe it's 4 to 5 seconds throughout its entirety. Silvshady taking a bit of time getting through that little enemy there, which actually means Thomas have pulled just ahead going into the boat here. Again, both opting not to take the curry. Both of them should be... Ooh, and Thomas just taking a hit here. But both of them should be healthy enough going into the Capula fight. Both of them here at Capula. Thomas opting to take a mid distance, now going close, and Silvshady also kind of went mid distance and close, kind of in between, going back and forth. But yeah, again, about 2 seconds or so in between. It's a really close race. Now into public clouds. What Thomas just did through those shabs is actually a really tight jump. Silvshady did it in the first races for the first game as well, but it's actually a very tight race that's significantly harder than it looks, but these guys are so good, they just make it look so easy. Oof. Silvshady just taking a little damage there and a bit more. Thomas into the vertical room. That damage is fine, he just took it, pushes him in the right direction, so it doesn't matter that much. And Silvshady again opting to suck in both those enemies. Cracko Jr. again. Thomas standing in the left corner this time. Now opting to stand in the middle, which one does, and Silvshady chooses to stand in the left corner. As said, there are 3 safe spots. The middle one, as Thomas is in, is a bit more tight to hit. So what can happen is, as you saw on Thomas' screen, he can take a bit of damage for doing it. And this time we actually get the pleasure to see the background glitch on Silvshady's screen. What happens is, when you suck in the mint leaf and hit the water at the same time, for some reason the game decides to put you in the background sprites. It doesn't really serve much purpose, but other than being basically the only real glitch in the game that's used, so it just looks cool. It's a swag strat, as we call it. Thomas into the Cracko fight here. Let's see how Cracko retreats in this time. Silvshady also entering the Cracko fight. Both of them not getting that good RNG. Silvshady is really getting some bad RNG at the moment. This is really unfortunate. Thomas getting a bit better RNG, 2 hits ahead at the moment. 3 hits ahead? 2 hits ahead. Now Cracko is starting to be a bit more generous. And Thomas is out of the fight in an 8:05. Silvshady is still struggling. And Thomas getting a quite rare but really irritating bug, where after the Cracko fight, Kirby just sometimes stands still in the final pose for a couple of extra seconds. I have no idea why it happens, but quite irritating when it does. And back into the Lola fight here. Thomas not getting a good pattern. Thomas getting a good pattern for double hit if he chooses to go for it, and he does. And he does also get it. And another double hit. Thomas getting a 4 cycle on Lola fight here is really good. Although he does take 2 damage, but he should hopefully be fine. Silvshady getting ready for double hit here. Very nice. And Silvshady just finishing up the Lola fight as Thomas begins his Cracko fight. Again, Silvshady also opting to go for Cracko second. This is where he caught up a lot of time in the first race. Let's see how it will treat him this time. Although Thomas have gotten some... Oh, facing the wrong way. That is really unfortunate, missing a cycle on Cracko. Although he have gotten significantly better RNG than he did and the first time, and he just finishes up the Cracko fight, as Silvshady is not getting the best of luck here. Just one more hit on Cracko for Silvshady, and he finishes up the fight as Thomas enters the Kabula fight. He has to be a little careful here because he does only have 3 HP, but he actually opts to play it relatively close. And now he's down to 1 HP. Wonder if he'll go for the intentional death here. It does not appear he wants to take the diff, at least not yet. And Silvshady into the fight, Kabula fight here. Taking a bit of damage as well. Tom's getting 2 puffs 2 times again. Wispy haven't really been that great to either of them today. Although 2 puffs is relatively okay. And there we see it. Thomas going for the intentional death. Maybe he will go for double hits then, with the extra health that he gets. And it would appear he at least is trying to do so. Silvshady just finishing up the fight here. Let's see. Not getting it there for Thomas. How we can hear that he's trying to do double hits is when he sucks out, we hear that little squeak after he spits out the star, which is trying to set up for what is called a task spit. And there we get it, the double hit on Thomas. Very nice. And just finishing it up there, with Silvshady still having 6. But that sets up, but when you hear that small squeak, it sets up a task bit, which means when King Dedede jumps, he can actually grab the first star and spit it out, and grab the second star at the same time. And then being able to hit King Dedede 2 times in rapid succession from just 1 attack. Very powerful strat. And we can see here Silvshady is not going for it. It is almost impossible, it's really difficult to do damageless, which is why Thomas went for the intentional death, to get that extra HP to go for it. So yeah, a really good race we have going on here. 1-1. I guess I should mention this just a 5 race. So we are potentially getting 5 races here today, which would be a real treat. But it will just be a short moment and we'll get the 3rd race up and going. And we're off to the 3rd race. Back into greens. Move right and manage the lag. Again, almost in perfect sync, really nice. Back into the Puppy Bros fight here. Let's see if hopefully none of them gets the dance this time. The first 2 attacks of Kirby Bros is actually stage. He will first do a slow bomb and then a fast bomb, and Silvshady here getting the dance and the slow bomb. The worst possible RNG you can get. Thomas with an intentional damage boost there, which we should also see Silvshady do, but he does actually mess it up a little bit. Thomas into the tree climb here. Silvshady losing a bit of momentum on his way up, causing him a small bit of time loss. Ooh, Thomas getting the free apple straight out of the bat. Trying to do a little manipulation with jumping. Maybe he's actually trying to purposely do manip this time. And Thomas with the fast hit on the last hit on Wispy. And Silvshady also just finishing up the fight here. Not too far after. Back into the Casalololo fight. Casalololo. Both of them getting through the first couple of rooms. Really nice. Thomas into the low fight. Getting a mix of RNG there. Actually, both of them gets the exact same RNG, but Silvshady misses the cycle. No! Falling a bit further behind here. Still not opting to go for the curry. Thomas have to set up for a double hit, and he does also get it. Another nice setup. Oh, can Thomas get this though? Thomas getting a free cycle! That is some really nice movement. Silvshady getting a double hit here. And there he just finishes up the fight as Thomas gets into Float Island. Ooh, Thomas getting hit the wrong way by the cannon. Let's see if Silvshady gets the damage boost the proper way. Real nice, real nice. And get hit by the cannon again for an additional damage boost. I'm not sure if that's intentional though. We also see a bit of a different choice in what Silvshady just comes up to here. Whereas Thomas opts to go for the bottom row, Silvshady goes for the bottom row with the enemy. I'm not sure what the time difference is, but I wouldn't imagine it being a huge one, but it's probably still a small time save for not having to wait to kill the enemy. Because when Kirby sucks something in, he actually have an 8-frame window where he cannot do anything else. So you have to wait until he can spit it out to kill that enemy. Kirby, yes. Thomas into the Kabula fight again. Going, well, somewhat close. Silvshady into the Kabula fight again. Also, going for a bit more distance, a bit safer, although he does take a bit of damage there, coming out with just 1 HP. Thomas doing some fine movement there, that was interesting. Where Thomas is now, it looks way more scary than it is, but if you just jump on and just straight hit right, none of the enemies of the cannon will ever hit you. As we see here, Silvshady just hold right and all of the enemies will float right above you, and the cannon will shoot right in between you. Thomas in the vertical room now. None of them have had much trouble with the vertical room today, which is really nice to see. Some runs have been lost in that room. Going into that room with 1 HP and starting to climb can be very dangerous. Silvshady taking the damage boost there. Thomas getting hit again by standing in the middle. And Thomas manages to find the right spot to stand in the middle this time. Very nice. And Thomas is off to the more fun parts of this stage. The block of wall. A wall of block, I suppose. Let's see if Silvshady gets the background glitch, and he does get the background glitch again. There is a bit of dispute if it saves time to do the background glitch, but it's very minimal if it does. And now Silvshady into the row of blocks. Just the funnest part of the entire game. So great. In extra mode, the stars that falls down actually also hits you. So in extra mode you have to be a bit more careful than just holding the shoot button and moving right. Both of them into the Cracko fight here. Thomas haven't really gotten the best of RNG here again. One hit between them. Both of them getting an enemy to split. And Silvshady getting another enemy. Now we are tied. And Silvshady is actually pulling ahead. This is what Cracko does. Now back to side. Silvshady won. And Silvshady finishes the fight with Thomas still having 2 hits on Cracko. Silvshady with another sub 8 Cracko. Really nice time. And Cracko just does not want to finish. There it is. And Thomas finally finishes up with Cracko. It isn't Cracko crushing tournament for nothing. Back into the low la 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 fight here. And Thomas opting for it as well. Silvshady actually having the possibility to do for double hit, but chooses not to go for it. Another nice setup. Can he get it? It was probably the best choice not to do so. Thomas getting a double hit though. Silvshady just taking a bit of unfortunate damage there. Thomas with the possibility for a double hit. Just misses it. Unfortunately, he also takes a bit of extra damage there. Now both of them are at Cracko again. Let's see if we can get a bit better Cracko this time for Thomas. Silvshady not really getting the good RNG this time. Thomas is getting the good RNG this time. And I've pulled a hit by 1 damage onto Cracko. Thomas getting another enemy. And Silvshady following just behind with. But Thomas finishing with 2 points of damage on Cracko. The roles have reversed from bubbly clouds. Again. This isn't called Cracko crushing tournament for nothing. Both of them going into the Kabula fight here third. Thomas have to be a bit careful with 3 HP, although he managed to get through it perfectly fine, only taking 1 piece of damage. Silvshady taking at 1 piece of damage as well on the Kabula fight. Now into Wispy Woods and to Wispy itself. Thomas taking, I would imagine, an intentional piece of damage, so he can do an intentional diff on D3 to again go for those double hits, which really can save you a lot of time. Thomas just finishing the fight up here with Wispy, as Sylph is getting 2 puffs, and Thomas doing the intentional diff. But that also means that Silvshady gets a little of the lost time back, and we are now neck and neck. And perfect. Silvshady just getting. Thomas unfortunately misses the double hit. Trying to set up for another one. Oof, getting a hit there by DDD. 2 damage. Again, Thomas unfortunately misses, but is pulling a bit ahead right now. 3 points of damage. We are getting very close to the same RNG for this fight. And Thomas should finish up the fight here with a 12:05. That's a really good time, actually. Let's see what Sylph can do here. Just finishing up the fight. And that should do it at 12:21. Thomas going back into the DDD fight. Possibly to practice a bit of double hit real fast. I guess he gave up on that. But yeah, it will be just a moment and we'll get right back into the 4th rage. And here we are, right into the 4th race. With 2 games to 1 for Thomas. Thomas with the match point here. Perfect staying through the first bit of the stage here, where they now take a bit of a different route. Again, there's really no time difference in between the two. Just personal preference. Let's see how Puppy Bros choose to treat both of them this time. Both of them getting the fast bomb. Nice! That's what we like to see. Both with the intentional damage boost there. Thomas just slightly ahead at the moment. But both of them with some pretty good times here into the Wispy fight. Let's see how Wispy will treat him. Both of them getting 2 puffs. Equal RNG. It looks like Thomas is trying to do some nip now, or he could be trolling, but at least it isn't really working for him. Both of them getting the exact same RNG here, so Still just slight lead for Thomas. Back into Castle Lololo. Not really much to say about the first couple of rooms here. Except that room they just both passed where you have to jump over a small hole in the ground can be a bit more tricky. And many rounds have been lost to jumping right into that hole. Thomas getting the top row into the bottom row. Silvshady getting 2 second rows, really nice, into a third row. Not bad. Thomas again doing what appears to be a bit of troll manip. You saw both of them actually do this, but just being a bit careful from the spiky enemy when they have to go up in the second to last room, because if you are not a bit careful there, it will actually hit you and deal a bunch of damage, which isn't really what you want into this fight, as you can see both of them doing a lot of damage boost to get as many hits as possible, and both of them finishing with some really nice patterns here, and Silvshady actually just taking the lead by about a second or so. Now into Float Island. Let's see if they can both manage to get this damage boost. Ah, Silvshady just missing the damage boost a little bit there. Thomas getting it though. It's interesting to see that Silvshady opts to destroy 2 of the coconuts, whereas Thomas only opts to do 1 of them. As mentioned earlier, they can cause a lot of lag. Thomas going for the top row again, Silv going for the bottom row. They are really close here. Don't do. This is only a couple of seconds in between. This is every man's game. Also, we haven't been to Cracko yet, so yay. Both of them coming into the Capula fight with 5 HP. Hopefully she will be nice to them. Although Capula's movement is quite sit, her attacks are not. So she can either do a triple attack, as we have seen a bunch of time, or she can just do single attacks. And the when she fires 3 balls at the same time, that is when you will typically take damage. It can be quite difficult to dodge that. So Shady opting to kill the first Shabby there. Again, hold right, nothing will hit you. Except that last enemy can hit you, which is why you'll see both of them duck, just to be sure. Ooh, so Shady just getting hit by an enemy, getting knocked back a little bit. Both of them in the vertical room. Again, Silvshady sucking in both of those. Here we are, Cracko Jr. Again, completely scripted fight. It may look very intimidating, the first casual playthrough, but just stand in the left corner and you'll be perfectly fine. Or in the middle, which is a bit tighter window. Or you can hug the right side wall. I believe you have to duck for that one though. Thomas getting out of Cracko Jr. into the fun parts of the stage. Silvshady following right behind him. Thomas is opting to land into the mint leaf every time. And here we see again the background glitch on Silvshady. Ah, Silvshady just struggling to get into the hole he created. Losing a bit of time there. Thomas into the row of blocks. Silvshady still really close right behind him. Thomas spending a bit of time there trying to get across the hole in the ground. Silvshady getting that with no problem. Thomas taking a bit of damage there. Not intentional this time. And here we are, Cracko. Let's see if Cracko will turn this game around like it have been in the previous ones. Thomas getting some pretty good RNG here. Thomas getting some really nice RNG here. But Cracko can stop at any moment he so chooses to, and just that gives you bad RNG, but it haven't really stopped yet. Thomas getting some really nice RNG here, and Silvshady is stuck on the 4 HP on Cracko, and Thomas is out of the fight here with a 749. Really, really nice time. And Silvshady is just stuck. Nothing he can do about that. Again, Thomas spending a bit of time in the victory pose. Silvshady now down to 1 HP on Cracko. But we have to remember that those two Crackos can be the exact opposite in this final stage, Mount DDD, where Silvshady can get the good RNG and Thomas can get the bad. And Thomas starting off the Lola fight with a double hit. Really nice. And he have the option to get it again here. Ah, just missing the turnaround. Still not a bad fight for Thomas there though. As Silvshady just enters the fight with an possibility of a double hit, which he does get. Silvshady with another possibility of a double hit. Not going for it there. Chooses to go for a bit safer to not take any more damage. He have also taken 3 parts of the damage there, as Thomas is doing the Cracko fight and getting not terrible RNG again. Hopefully we will get some really good RNG for Silv so he can catch back up a bit. So we can get that 5th game. Although Cracko finishing up here for Thomas as Silv is on 4 HP. Although he is getting significantly better RNG on the Cracko fight than the first time he in this game. Thomas into the Capula fight as Silv is just facing up the Cracko. So both of them going into Capula here. Thomas taking a bit of damage. It's not really a problem yet, and there we go. Finishing it up, 4 HP. He shouldn't go for an intentional death this time. 4 HP should be sufficient enough for him. Silv coming into the Capula fight with 3 HP. Have to be a bit more careful than Thomas. Now down to 2 HP. Thomas getting 2 puffs on the Wispy. Although Thomas is a bit ahead, he does get the 6 puffs here. Although Thomas is a bit ahead, finishing up Wispy here as Silv enters it, D3 can still be a real pain. Although he does enter with a sub 11 time. And I believe he did actually get the double hit there. Silv just finishing up Wispy. Let's see if he can get... He does not get the double hit here. For Thomas. Thomas missing a hammer cycle there. Really unfortunate. Maybe it was because he couldn't proper it up for his double hits. Thomas is getting a really nice RNG here, where Silv is getting about average RNG, and Thomas finishing up here with an 1146, the first sub 12 of this race, and Silv just taking a really unfortunate piece of damage there. So GG to Thomas, he does win out this game, 3 games to 1. Silv just finishing out the DDD fight here. And there we have it at 12:24. Not a bad time either, but Thomas is the winner here. Let's see if either of them wants to join in for a little post-game talk. And apparently we have a race PB by Thomas by 7 seconds. That is very nice. It does not appear that they will be joining. Thomas cannot join the interview, he says. And Silv does not appear to be joining either. So, with that being said, this is the end of this race here. We still this was the losers semifinal, I believe. So Thomas is gonna advance up and will be facing Dark Soul in the next round. Oh, I guess it's the losers quarterfinals. I don't know. And we'll be facing Dark Soul, which should be a really good race as well. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to watch this Kirby DreamLand Cracko Crushing tournament, and watch out for the schedules, and we'll catch you next time.